Hello, I'm Kate Freeman, and this is the Daily Dollop. On this episode of the Daily Dollop, I'm going to discuss why willpower is not the reason why you can't stick to diets. And I'm going to show you how you can build healthy eating habits that last. Welcome to the show, everybody, this fine day. Hope you're doing great. My name's Kate Freeman. I'm a registered nutritionist and the founder of the Healthy Eating Hub. Fun fact about me is that I spent most of my high school years being smashed in the face with balls. I really don't like balls. And not the balls you're probably thinking of, you ones with the dirty mind. I'm talking sport balls, actually, soccer balls, netballs, rugby balls. So many in my face. And then this one time, I don't know, I was like year 8 or year 9, we had to do these sprints running backwards, and there was a ball behind me and I tripped over and I fell on my tailbone, my bottom, and it hurt so much and everyone laughed at me. And anyway, let's just say that I'm happy that high school is over. Well, on to today's show though, where we're chatting about willpower and the ability to stick to a healthy eating pattern. And it's actually something that's always really fascinated me about nutrition, because when I began my career, which actually at the end of this year, it's been 16 years since I graduated from my first degree in nutrition, so a long time. It always fascinated me when I would talk to people in the early days about, this is what's healthy, so you need to eat this and not eat this and blah, blah, blah. And it was very simplistic, my advice, but people would be like, okay, yeah, great, I need to eat that and not eat that. But then they'd come to me 2 weeks later and be like, oh, but I can't stop eating that and I'm not eating that. So it's like they wanted to do one thing, yet would do the complete opposite. And I've always found that fascinating about behavior, particularly when it comes to nutrition, and that behavior change with your food choices for some people is really, really challenging. And so, one of the things that people have frequently say to me these days when I ask them, what's the main barrier that's stopping you from achieving your goals with your nutrition? And they say, it's just willpower. I just need to try harder to stick to things, be more motivated. And unfortunately, they've come to me for help. And then and I ask them what the barrier is, because depending on their answer, I can help them overcome particular barriers, but I can't have them have more willpower. I can't help them have more willpower. That's outside of my control, apart from, them paying me to come and live with them for every second of the day. Be like, oh, remember, we're eating this and we're not eating this, that kind of thing. But it's funny because, there are actually 2.3 million Australians on a diet at any one time. Do you know that? 15% of women and 11% of men in a 2011-12 Australian survey. These people were on a diet, and they were on a diet to lose weight, the majority of them. And it's funny actually, because it's not working, them being on a diet, because the diet industry is worth $600 million in Australia. So even though we feel like we can't stick to diets and we don't have the willpower and we don't have the motivation, we just diet hop. So we hop from one program to the next, switching from, keto to Weight Watchers to the shakes diet to paleo, hoping to just find something. Maybe the stars will align and this program and my motivation will be high and this time it will work. Because we love to romanticize and popularize success with weight loss because of testimonials. We see these before and after photos. We hear these stories of people who have dropped heaps of weight and changed their life and everything's wonderful. And we romanticize about that and think, oh, well, surely that could happen to me. I just need to try hard enough. But the thing is, before you know it, you've spent years of your adult life, if not part of your teens, hopping from one diet to the next, and you've tried everything. And you're actually starting to think, I don't know if there's any hope for me now, because keto was too restrictive and you missed bread. And I mean, who can blame you? You can't have crackers and hot chips on a keto diet. Paleo left you feeling really worried and stressed about grains, and were they giving you dementia or something, which they don't, by the way, but that whole paleo movement made people really afraid of grains. Fasting made you hungry. Surprise, surprise, that tends to be what happens when you don't eat for long periods of time. Certainly not for everybody. You went and saw your PT and got a Get Shredded plan because they did a bikini competition and they got shredded. But if you look at broccoli and sweet potato again, you're going to vomit pretty much, because you just can't eat that anymore. The shakes are gross, they're tasteless, and you miss eating food, right? You're getting the picture. Like, these diets are hard to stick to, but we don't stick to them for a number of different reasons. And the thing is, motivation around sticking to diets frustrates me, because people are like, they use character traits like determined and perseverance. And so if you manage to achieve weight loss, then you have all these wonderful deep character traits as part of your psyche, and so you're to be celebrated and praised. And so then people end up thinking, well, because I can't do that, then I'm like a second-rate human being. But it's simply not true. Willpower is not an unlimited resource. They like, willpower's a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Well, potentially, but if willpower is like a muscle, the more you use it, the more fatigued it becomes. It needs a rest. It needs a break. And I like to think of, if we're going to use the willpower as a muscle analogy, then let's think truly about what makes a muscle stronger. And that is, yes, repeated use, but not incessantly repeated use. The muscle needs a break and a rest so it can repair. And so what we want to do with your willpower is certainly use it frequently enough so that you are genuinely making a choice about what you as a human being wants to eat. You're not breaking a rule. You're not feeling social pressure. It's not emotional eating that you regret later. It's genuinely eating how you want to eat and practicing using your willpower in that way, but also having habits, automated behaviors, routines that make healthy eating the easy choice, so that you don't have to use your willpower all the time. So you can give it a chance to rest and recover, ready for when you need it again. And this is the power of habit-based nutrition, as opposed to just waking up one morning, Monday morning, and starting a diet and putting all of your mental energy and effort into just, I'm going to stick to this diet and I'm going to do perfect and I'm going to be amazing, only to find that you're exhausted by the end of the week and you make one food choice that's off your diet, and the what the hell effect happens that we chatted about in the previous episode, and you just think, what's the point? And you continue to make more food choices that go against what you truly want, and becomes this frustrating cycle. So there actually is a way to stick to a healthy eating pattern. And I have 6 tips for you actually today to help you build skills around making the healthy choice, the easy choice, and staying consistent at a healthy eating pattern, rather than being on the diet, off the diet, and swinging between these two extremes of being uber perfect healthy and then just eating whatever happens. So tip and key point number 1, it's not really a tip, it's really a key point. It is that you must be organized and be intentional with your food. So I'm going to link to our meal planning page on our website. It's a really comprehensive page that outlines meal planning and organization tips for busy people. But part of making the healthy choice the easy choice is doing some pre-thought, so some forethought about what you're going to eat in advance and then having it ready there for you as you progress throughout the week. So an example of that in my own life is that I do particularly get hungry in between meals. And so I find that I have a couple of things available at work, a tub of yogurt usually, some wholemeal saladas, etc., maybe some hummus. And so when I start to feel hungry, it's automatic for me to just wander into the kitchen, make myself a bowl of yogurt or some crackers with some hummus or some veggie sticks, and then wander back to my desk, have something to eat, and then keep going. I don't have to think about that. I don't use willpower for that. I've just thought in advance, brought those things to work, and then as I feel hungry, that's a trigger for me to then just go and do that repeated behavior. I've automated that part of my life. It's easy for me. And so that's what you have to do if you want to consistently eat well, because healthy food is fresh. It needs a little bit of preparation. It has a short shelf life, some level of organization, because we're so busy, has to come in order there to be healthy food available to you. But you want to start to think about breaking it down into really small little behaviors that you automate rather than this huge thing. Like imagine if I was like every day, I'm having special bliss balls, and then I'm having, these like epic muffin recipes, and all of these things are great. But if I was meal planning too complicated recipes or food, I wouldn't do it or stick to it because it wouldn't be easy for me. So I've simplified a lot of my food choices down to really simple, easy behaviors that I can just do without thinking. The second thing is that you want to start thinking about creating a healthy environment around you. There is a lot of research gone into how your environment influences your food choices, particularly the availability of food. If food is not in your house or in your workplace, you won't eat it. If there's not salmon available, you don't eat salmon. If there's not broccoli available at the shops, you wouldn't eat broccoli. It's the same as immediately in your home. If there's no chocolate in your home, you're not eating chocolate. If there's no salad in your home, you're not eating salad. So building an environment where you've got your fridge and pantry stocked with good, minimally processed, fresh fruit and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, food easily accessible in your home or your workplace will mean that those foods will be eaten more frequently than if you haven't. It's the same with, high energy, more processed foods. If they're not around you in your environment, you just won't eat them. The third thing is to start practicing thinking about future you. What does future you want? And it's just learning to create a habit of making food choices based on immediate wants and future goals. And I talked about this in the previous episode, which is the delayed cost decision of, eating chocolate cake now tastes really good, but the long-term consequence is that it might not help you achieve the goal of weight loss because you don't have your energy deficit for the day. So it's being able to make decisions based on what do I want now, but what do I want in the future as well? And then genuinely starting to learn how to make a choice about that. I always make sure that the dishes are washed in my house after dinner because I know future Kate loves waking up to a clean kitchen. And that just little scenario in my mind when I'm like lazy on the couch, like, bleh, and I don't want to do anything after dinner. I don't want to clean the kitchen, but I'm like, but future Kate would love a clean kitchen. And that's enough motivation for me to just like get off my bum and go and just clean up. Number 4 is have some basic food prep skills. So you do want to have a bank of really familiar foods are important, familiar meals, easy recipes that you feel are healthy, that help meet your goals in a bank that you can pull on throughout the week. And you can only create this bank of food ideas through practice and trying new things and repeating them enough to make them a part of your life. But you have to have some kind of food prep skills unless you can afford for someone to make your food for you. in which case I'm available, but really expensive. So just send me a message if that's what you want. But you do have to do some food prep. So don't have to be a master chef. You don't even have to like cooking, but you do have to just acknowledge the fact that I'm going to have to prep food, and that's just part and parcel. But for me, pulling together a side salad feels easy and achievable. It doesn't feel hard. It's just part of a weeknight routine with pulling dinner together. Same with cooking veggies in a particular way. I've done it enough times that it feels familiar. It feels easy. I just jump onto autopilot and I go and do it. But that's only comes through practice, and you can do that too. Number 5 is you've got to try and apply good advice. I mean, crap advice is crap advice. So make sure you see a qualified person if you're applying things. If it's unrealistic or not sustainable, you won't be able to stick to it. And finally, number 6 is learning to deal with your emotional attachment to food. So if you're finding that you're eating things when you're not hungry and it's from an emotional or stress response, you might actually find like actually dealing with the core issue there and seeking help from a counselor or a psychologist is actually a really good move for you, because you're actually addressing the underlying reason of why you're eating the way you're eating. And sometimes our food choices are a result of some deeper trauma, and that's okay. And acknowledging that and seeking help for that is a really positive step forward. So guys, that's it for today's episode. Ditch the idea that you need more willpower. You need to be a smart, critical thinker and start to build healthy eating habits into your life. If you'd like more help with this, I've created a Building Healthy Habits Masterclass. The link to that will be in the show notes. It's a free class, just 10 videos long. I dig deep into habit building and a bit of psychology. I'd love to see you there. Otherwise, have a great day.